Hi guys, this is O-Level Chemistry, paper 12, June 2021, question 21. Brown nitrogen dioxide reacts to form colorless dinitrogen tetraoxide in a reversible reaction. The forward reaction is exothermic. Okay. Which changes would make the equilibrium mixture darker in color? So in order to make the equilibrium mixture darker in color, we need to shift the equilibrium backwards. And another thing that has not been written along with the equation is that the forward reaction is exothermic, which makes the backward reaction endothermic. Okay, now let's look at the options. Temperature decreases. A decrease in temperature favors the exothermic side of the reaction. So this would result in the forward reaction being favored. So the brown color would decrease. So this is wrong. B again decreases. So forward reaction would be favored. Brown intensity of the color would decrease. Wrong. Increase and increase would favor the backward reaction. So the correct options would be either C or D. Now let's look at the pressure. In this case, there are 2 moles of reactants and 1 mole of product. An increase in pressure will favor the forward reaction. A decrease in pressure will favor the backward reaction. So we need to favor the backward reaction and not the forward reaction, making option C the correct option for this question. Question 22. Which row shows the pH values of 0.1 mole per dmq solutions of ammonia, hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride, and sodium hydroxide? Now, out of these four, NaCl is neutral, and NaCl being neutral will have a pH of 7. So, this automatically eliminates options A and B. So, now we look at only options C and D. Now, HCl is a strong acid. A strong acid would have a pH of 1 and not 11. So, option C is correct. Option D is wrong. But let's continue. Looking at NaOH. NaOH is a strong base. A strong base would have a higher pH. So a pH of 13 is basic, whereas a pH of 1 is acidic. So D again is wrong in this regard. And ammonia is a weak base. Ammonia would have a lower pH compared to NaOH. So if NaOH has a pH of 13, ammonia would have a lower pH. Here, option C has a pH of 11, which is lower than the pH of 13 for NaOH, which makes option C the correct option for this question. Question 23. Four test tubes are set up as shown. W, X, Y, and Z. W contains silver nitrate, X contains copper nitrate, Y contains lead nitrate, and Z contains sodium nitrate. All of them are nitrates, all of them are soluble. What is the effect of adding dilute hydrochloric acid to each test tube? In AgNO3, if you add HCl, we end up with a white precipitate of HCl forming. So the key is X means it's a clear solution and tick means it's a precipitate formed. So in the case of W, a precipitate is forming. So option A gets eliminated, B, C, and D are correct. Moving on to X. In X, if we add HCl, we end up with copper chloride, which is also soluble. So no precipitate would be observed. So all three options are still correct. Moving to Y. On lead nitrate, when we add HCl, hydrochloric acid, we end up with a white precipitate of lead chloride forming. So options B and C remain correct. Option D gets eliminated. So now in the last tube, which contains sodium nitrate, if we add HCl, we end up with formation of NaCl. And when NaCl is formed, it is a clear solution and not a precipitate. So option B remains correct and option C gets eliminated. So this results in option B being the correct option for this question. Question 24. Aqueous ammonia reacts with a compound to form a salt ammonium phosphate. So ammonium NH4 will be present in a quantity of 3 ions because phosphate has a charge of -3. So in order to balance those -3, we need 3 ions of ammonium, which each contain a +1 charge. Okay. What type of a reaction will ammonia undergo to form ammonium phosphate? Ammonia to ammonium phosphate. So ammonia will react with phosphoric acid to form ammonium phosphate. This is not a combustion reaction. It is a neutralization reaction, yes. It is not oxidation because the nitrogen atom in ammonia and the nitrogen atom in ammonium ion each contain a charge of -3. There is no change in the oxidation state, so it is not oxidation. And it is not precipitation because all ammonium salts are soluble. So ammonium phosphate will also be soluble. So precipitate will not be observed. This makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 25. Sulfuric acid is manufactured in the contact process. Several substances are involved in this process, including vanadium 5 oxide and water. Now, V2O5, vanadium 5 oxide is the catalyst. Which role are played by vanadium 5 oxide and water? So, vanadium 5 oxide is a catalyst. Either option A or B would be correct. Now, water here is taking part in the reaction because in the contact process, when oleum forms, oleum is H2S2O7. When oleum forms, it reacts with water to form 2 moles of H2SO4, which is a 98% pure solution of H2SO4. So, in this case, water is taking part in the reaction, so it is a reactant and not a solvent. So, this makes option A the correct option for this question. Question 26. Some properties which indicate the differences in elements are listed. The metallic character. Okay, number of electron shells in an atom, number of protons in an atom, and total number of electrons in an atom. Okay, these are different properties. Which two properties increase across a period of the period table? So now we have to look at along a period. So the metallic character along a period decreases. The number of electron shells in an atom remains the same. Number of protons in an atom increases as we move along a period. And the total number of electrons in the atom also increases as we move along the period. So they're asking us which two properties increase. So properties 3 and 4 increases as we move along a period, which makes option D the correct option for this question. Question 27. Germanium is in group 4 of the periodic table. It has a proton number of 32. Selenium is in group 6 of the periodic table. It has a proton number of 34. Which prediction can be made based on the positions of germanium and selenium in the periodic table? A. A germanium atom has two more valence electrons than a selenium atom? No, two less electrons because selenium is in group 6. It would have two more than the element in group 4. So this statement is incorrect. Germanium forms a Ge3 positive ion and selenium forms an Se3 negative ion. Germanium being in group 4 would form a Ge4 positive ion if a positive ion is forming, not 3 positive. And selenium being in group 6 would form an Se2 negative ion, not a 3 negative ion. So both the ions here are incorrect. Next, C. Germanium has more metallic character than selenium. Now, metallic character increases along a decreases along a period. When you move from left to right, the metallic character decreases, the non-metallic character increases. Now, this says germanium has more metallic character than selenium. Germanium is found on the left of selenium, which means it is more metallic, and selenium is found on the right of germanium, which means it is less metallic. So, germanium has more metallic character than selenium is the correct answer. D. Germanium has similar properties to tellurium and selenium has similar properties to tin. Now, tin is in group 4. Selenium is in group 6. They don't have the same properties, whereas tellurium is in group 6 and germanium is in group 4. They don't have the same properties. So, basically, what they have done here is they've switched these two elements. In order for D to be correct, germanium has similar properties to tin and selenium has similar properties to tellurium must have been mentioned. So this makes option D incorrect, and as a result, option C is the correct option for this question. Question 28. The proton number of cesium is 55. Compared with lithium, the melting point of cesium is dash, and the reaction of cesium with water is dash vigorous. The number of valence electrons in cesium is dash compared to lithium. Now we need to fill in these blanks. So basically the positions of lithium and cesium are lithium is present on top of group 1 and cesium is present at the bottom of group 1. So compared to lithium, the melting point of cesium would be lower because down the group the melting point decreases. This eliminates options A and B, and options C and D remain as the correct option, out of which one more will be eliminated. So now the second blank, and the reaction of cesium with water is dash vigorous. Now this has to be more vigorous because down the group the reactivity increases. So both C and D have more as the option. So both are still correct. Now the third blank will decide which of these two is the actual correct answer. So the statement continues, the number of valence electrons in cesium is dash compared to lithium. Number of valence electrons. So number of valence electrons remain the same because both of them are in the same group, right? So this eliminates option C, which says greater, and option D says the same. So as a result, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 29. Nickel is a transition element. Which properties does it have? It can act as a catalyst. Yes, transition elements do act as catalysts. And then we have it conducts electricity when molten. Yes, they are metals. They will conduct electricity in the solid and the molten state. So 1 and 2 are correct. 3, it forms colored compounds. That is a property of transition elements that they form colored compounds. 4, it has only one oxidation state in its compound. This is wrong. A transition element has variable oxidation states. So options 1, 2, and 3 are correct. Thus, option A is the correct option for this question. Question 30. Which metal reacts with steam and can be extracted from its ore by reduction with carbon? So, magnesium reacts with steam. Yes. Calcium does not. Copper does not. But zinc does react with steam. So, we have eliminated options B and C. Now, it can be extracted from its ore by reduction with carbon. So, magnesium is not extracted by reduction with carbon. So, we are left with zinc. Zinc is reduced from its ore on reaction with carbon, making zinc the correct option here. So option D is the correct option for this question.